Welcome back to Virtual Reality Game Dev Ed. This is the second tutorial video for our friend codenamed S. This is right where I left off the last time. I have to go over just a little bit more of the interface. Now, I am purposely leaving out so much because there is literally so much you can possibly do in Blender that there is no way in the world I could go over it in just a few videos. So we will actually be going over a lot as we start creating and editing our objects and whatnot. But first thing I have to do is go over the rest of these. This is the render option. You see the little words pop up and tell you what each object or what each menu is. I will go over what each of them do as we go along, but the first thing we need to do is start off with this. This is how we actually see what we're working with. Okay? Go ahead and click A to unselect everything and add a camera. Okay? Oh, I have to go to object mode to do this. Unselect everything, add a camera. Okay? Now we want to rotate that camera to look at that object. Okay, so left click there, anywhere in these things. Let's turn it upright and then point it more at our object. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what happens when we click render image. There is the bottom of our cube there. We missed it by just a little bit. So to get back to 3D view, click down here, this little menu, and click on 3D view. Okay, we want to raise it up just a little bit. Okay, click render image again. Still just a little off. Go back to the 3D view and move it up just a little bit. Click render image. Now we have it kind of close, but as you see, it's black. So, go back to your 3D view. The next thing we need to do, go ahead and A to unselect everything and add a lamp. And just go ahead and add a sun. That's always a nice strong one. And we want to point it at our object a little bit. Okay, so now go ahead and click render image again. And now we see those sides are lit up. Okay, we want it to light up the front side of the object, so let's go ahead and go back to our 3D view. Move it around a little bit so we can see where we're going. Go ahead and click down here to this. I'll go over what controls move things soon, what keyboard functions move things soon, but for now let's just go ahead and use this since I already talked about what these are. Click this to rotate it again and move it a little bit towards the cube again. Okay. Now let's go ahead and click render image and see what we have. Yeah, now we're kind of looking nice. Okay, so now we can see what we're actually, what is being made once we're done. The reason I mention this immediately is because rendering is what Blender is actually for. We can use this program to make very, very advanced videos, all the way to very realistic photos of graphic scenes, whatever you want. It's a really, really unique and powerful program. But what we're actually doing here, this object doesn't actually exist yet, right here, technically. What we are just doing is rendering it. We are just making an image of it and figuring out, what it's going to look like. To make an object actually real, you have to export it into another program and whatnot, and then it actually becomes a physical object. And it's kind of a complicated idea, but you'll understand it as we go along. Okay, go back to your 3D view, unselect everything with A again, rotate the screen a little bit, and shift, click your center mouse to move your screen over a little bit. And now we have it kind of centered back in the middle of the screen. Okay. Now say if we right click on the cube to select it again. Some of these others, we won't go over these ones for now. This, as I mentioned, was the object. Right now we are in this layer. We'll do a lot of different things with this area. We want to put it in the first layer, first of all, and then I will go ahead and go back over into the 3D view and talk about this little menu. Now we have 20 different layer options, and this is really nice. If I select this layer, the only thing visible now is the cube which I put in that layer, right? However, you see this little dot? I click on that layer, and that's where my light and camera are, which is really convenient when you're working because we don't really need the camera and the light there in our scene anymore. They're just going to be in the way. So we put them in a different layer, and now they're not there to work with. However, if we render our image, they still exist. Okay, go back to your 3D view. To select multiple layers or select multiple anything, just hold down your shift button and select it. Now I have both layers selected, right? You see the camera, light, and everything, right? Go ahead and render the image, and everything's back to normal. Okay, go back to your 3D view, and we want to just go to the cube first, so make sure your cube is selected and go to edit mode. And come close, we have our face option selected right now, so right click on one face and then hold down your shift button and right click on a second face. As you see, now we have two faces selected. Hold down your shift button and right click on a third face, and now we have a third face selected. See, works very simple like that. Now say I just want to select everything in this area real quickly. All you have to do is hold Control and then hold down your left mouse button, and this is a neat little selector option. You can select everything that's visible at that point. Now it only selects the things that are visible, so I'm in face mode, it's selecting faces. I have to go to the back to select those faces, right? Okay, press A to unselect everything again. And now we are going to we will go ahead and get into these later options as we go through. For now, just go ahead and stick to the object. Also to render, there is a shortcut right here at the top, Blender Render. The render button comes right up. Okay. Unselect your object. Actually, no. Select your object. Go back to edit mode. Make sure it's unselected then. And now, I want to do something with it. I want to alter my object in a little. But I want to start using my keyboard. So, select a face. Just right click on it. And then I'm going to teach you how to use your keyboard for things. S scales the object. You just press the S, don't move your mouse or anything, or it will start actually scaling it for you. We don't want to do it like that. We want things to be specific in points. So let's go ahead and use the numbers. We have S selected, so we're scaled. Let's say we want to scale it on the y-axis. You can see your little axis shortcuts down here if you ever forget what you're working, which way is what. Say Y, and you see the line that we're working on now. And then you press the number 2 or any number, and it has locked at exactly scaled by 2. If you right click, it will undo and not keep that selection. So let's go ahead and press S again, press Y, and then 2, and then left click, and now it's kept. Okay, now let's go ahead and press A to unselect everything, press A again to select everything, and then press G. Now we are moving the object, right? So let's say we want to move it on the Z-axis. This will move it up and down. Okay, let's move it up by 2. Right click to undo it. G, Z, 2, left click to keep it. Okay. Now, last one. R is rotate. Let's say we want to rotate this along the x-axis. Now we'll bring it right through there. And we want to rotate it, say, 180 degrees. 180. Now we've literally just flipped it over. Okay. Now, say you click the wrong number. All you have to do before clicking anything is just press the delete button once, and now we still have our x-axis selected, or the backspace button, excuse me. Press the backspace button again. No, press the backspace button to undo your numbers. We're still locked to the x-axis. Now I want to move it 90 degrees. So just click 90 and left click to select it. And there we go. Now we've rotated 90 degrees along the x-axis. Very simple stuff. Alright, again, to rotate the screen, I'm just holding down my middle mouse button. Now, one thing you will notice about rotating the screen with your middle mouse button, if you go right along the center of the screen here, you will move it right up and down. Okay? However, if I want to rotate it up and down but click over here, you see I am moving down the side of my screen. So be careful with that. It is very sensitive to where you are in the scene when you click. If I click down here, I'm going to rotate it in some kind of funny way. So you want to be careful about using your actual points here if you want to rotate it specifically one direction. Okay? The screen is sensitive to how it rotates the object. Okay. Now I am about out of time for this video, so that is where I will stop right there, and I will pick up next time. We will learn how to make all of these things come up. All of these fancy options and whatnot. Okay? See you next time.